Hi everyone, this is Jilly Little Zen Crone. Welcome to the Rune Circle. Today is week 10, and today we are talking about the rune Need in the Anglo-Saxon Futhark and Nauthiz in the Elder Futhark. And this is a rune of need, but it is a rune of need that is born of hardship and struggle and desperation. It's a rune of constraint, and I'll talk about that in a minute, but it's also a rune of endurance and a rune of problem solving, I think. This is a rune of necessity, so it's not like I need a new outfit to wear for the weekend or I need to go get my nails done. It's not that kind of need. This is a need, and you can imagine back in the days when these runes were used as language, that times were very hard, and how this rune could be used as a way of expressing that kind of just soul need. I'm looking at my notes here quickly. Yeah, the Anglo-Saxon rune poem says that need is oppressive to the heart. And you can feel that, right? If you've ever been in need or something, what I can I've been in financial need before, like just really feeling like nothing is going right, everything's going wrong. I don't have enough money to stretch the budget, and that is oppressive. It can really get you tied up in a cycle of kind of victimhood and feeling like you deserve this somehow, or that it's never going to be right. So the poem says, need is oppressive to the heart, yet it can become a help and healing. What? If one heeds it in time. So I think what this is saying about this rune is that if we don't get sucked into the victimhood of things, if we're able to pause and reflect instead of acting out of desperation, we can problem solve creatively, right? I think sometimes that means sharing your burdens with a friend, a trusted friend, because I have two friends that I can pretty much go to with anything, and I can be a mess with. And they are both very good at we are all very good with each other at listening, and then helping that person, sometimes just by holding space, but helping that person find what the next step is. Sometimes on our own, and when we're stuck in the situation, we just feel like we're beating our head against a wall. And that's painful, So I think if we can take the step back, take that sacred pause that I always talk about, take that sacred pause and come out of that reactive mode and perhaps share with somebody, but perhaps, perhaps it involves, working magic. Perhaps it involves being still within yourself. And certainly it does, I think, involve that stillness within ourselves, because in the calmness, we can see ourselves through the storm. In the old Norse rune, it says need leaves little choice. It makes the heart sore, and it does. And there were some pretty drastic things that people did, and still do worldwide, when they're in desperate need. And it does, I can imagine it would make the heart sore, and you feel like you have little choice. So the element for this rune is fire, by that feeling of like banging our head against the wall, that friction that's there. And sometimes earth, and that would be the constraint, kind of the pulling back, and then the endurance or the patience part of this, right? That would be the groundedness. The zodiac sign is Capricorn, and crystals are smoky quartz, hematite, black tourmaline, and obsidian. And I can see where all of those would be really good crystals to work with this rune, to practice with the rune. The animals, I can see this too. So the badger, I can see the badger in that ability to survive hardship, but also in that reactive mode as well. The ox for its endurance, and it's just kind of slowness, or to work through, to keep going. And then the wolf is an excellent problem solver. And also, wolves they run in packs, but they can also be solitary. The color is dark red or brown, and I think that would the dark red may be fire, but I think the dark red also is like blood, sweat, and tears, the groundedness, the earthiness, and then brown as well. So working with this rune can help release feelings of feelings of victimhood. And so in that way, if we release feelings of victimhood, we regain our agency, we regain our sovereignty, we regain a little bit of maybe courage and self-esteem. It's really a good rune for shadow work. For anything, I think, that would require discipline, really hard work, where there may not be a lot of notice given, or attention. You may not see the rewards right away. And it teaches us to see the obstacles as sacred teachers. That's really hard when you're in it. It's really easy for me to sit here and say that. I can look back in my life and see in those moments where I was struggling, how those struggles were sacred teachers for me. But man, when you're in it, it's really difficult. And I think that's why having those trusted friends, having community is really important. So that is our rune for this week. And as always, I'm interested in what you think. I'm interested in whether you've worked with this rune or have ever had it in a runic reading that you've come across, and what you're doing with runes. I also have a set of the witches runes. I've shown them on my channel before. I'll have to get them out again. I also promised you that I was going to show you my my casting bowl and my casting tray. I'll get a short video up about that soon. But I also recently, within the last year, bought a book on the women's runes, and so guess what Mr. Honey's doing? He's going to be making me a set of the women's runes. Yeah, so that is what's going on in my rune world. And I think pretty soon too we'll be ready to maybe do some rune casting with the runes that we've already learned about. So until next time, everyone, please be kind to yourselves. Take care.